What's good, people? It's your boy Nobi Inf Gang of Noble Cinema. Today I'm joined with a figurehead in the Bay Area music scene, a tastemaker, a charitable human being, sometimes controversial, always outspoken, but always honest. The host of Thizzler IG Lives, See Legal for the People. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored, man. What's going on, man? Let's get into it.
Getting into it, man. We've been connected for a long time, and I've been seeing you doing your thing for very long.
Way before, IG Live.
Oh yeah, way before Thizzler, all that stuff. You always been somebody that I looked up to as a hustler, somebody that is always staying on point, and I really appreciate that about you. So let's start from the beginning then, because I don't know if everybody knows the history of C. Lee. So where are you from?
I'm from San Francisco, California, by way of Antioch, California. If y'all know anything about gentrification, a lot of people got kicked out of certain neighborhoods and homes because of gentrification, and that pushed everybody to like places like Antioch, Fairfield, different kind of places. Mm-hmm. And then my second semester of my high school year, I ended up in Antioch, and that's where I started businesses and did so many things. So, but I'm from the Point. I'm from Hunters Point, California, born and raised.
Got you. Yeah, and Antioch is a crazy place to kind of grow up at. I feel like, well, especially nowadays, it's like a super mixing pot of hoods, for one thing.
Absolutely. It builds a lot of character, but I'm gonna just keep it real, man. That it could be depressing too, like because I was in Antioch before it was ghetto. So when you coming from the Point, you coming from Section 8 housing, and now you coming into people in 9th and 10th grade, and they got, remember the Dodge Magnums, and they got Escalades, and they got all kind of cars. It's kind of a culture shock, you know what I'm saying? And then you got all these kids here trying to prove themselves, and it's like it got chaotic real quick.
So I interviewed Black C, and he moved out to Antioch, like how you said back in the day, before everybody else moved out there. Mm-hmm. And he said it's just like, he's like, man, motherfuckers are infiltrating the hood. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it changed a lot. But yeah, man, it's still a beautiful place. Shout out to Antioch. You know what I'm saying? Learned a lot there. It's good to learn both cultures. It's really important how to learn a suburban type culture. It's actually very important, especially when you navigate in business. Because when you navigate in business, you're going to be dealing with a specific type of person. It's good to know how to speak a certain kind of way. Oh, yeah. For example, in the hood, we talk shit, we roast. That ugly ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But in the suburbs, they get real offended. They're very sensitive by that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful how you talk to people, because you'll be rubbing somebody the wrong way and they not even knowing you just joking.
And it's every day for us. We're just like,
and it's every day, like just roasting. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I can tell who really authentic and who really actually a suburban just portraying.
I'm a suburban dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a little time in Antioch. Like I used to, I didn't used to, but I shot a couple videos over like on Sycamore Avenue.
Oh yeah, Sycamore Savages. That's what they used to call them back in the day. Yeah, that shit.
Yeah, someone was whipped out on us over there.
Yeah, Sycamore got everybody from Vallejo, Oakland, Richmond, San Francisco. It's everybody on Sycamore, and they're just a bunch of two tough Tonys.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know so what was the early life of C. Lee like? So how old were you when you moved out of San Francisco?
Probably like 15.
Oh, okay. So like you spent a good amount of years over there.
Oh yeah, I wasn't one of them people that left early. Nah, and even back then, because when we first moved to Antioch, we still was going back. Everybody would go back to their neighborhoods on the weekends, even the people from Oakland, the city, Vallejo, Richmond. But yeah, I was like 15 when we left the city, and just coming up, it was. I was never a gangster. My family, they made sure all the kids, make sure you graduated high school. It was a necessity. Make sure you know how to read, make sure you know how to write, make sure you play sports. So we was San Francisco Seahawks, you know what I'm saying? We was playing AAU basketball. That's what it was a necessity to stay busy. You know what I'm saying? That's what we was on. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny that the San Francisco Seahawks, anytime I go to Seattle, I'm always like, this is a cleaner San Francisco. I'm always like, it's hella cool. Like, they keep shit clean, even though, there's always crank anchors everywhere. There's always drug addicts everywhere. But in the same sense, that's funny that it's the San Francisco Seahawks. That's wild.
The Pop Warner team. Yep. Definitely, man. One of the greatest Pop Warner team in San Francisco history.
So when it came to like growing up in San Francisco, did you notice so you said Hunters Point, right? Mm-hmm. Did you notice like it being a bad neighborhood? But the Seahawks was in
Fillmore. You said what?
Oh, just Seahawks were in Fillmore. Did you notice did you realize that like Hunters Point was considered a bad neighborhood, or did you not really see that growing up?
Not until not until like, I would say like hyphy movement days
Okay.
when it was the murder. It got crazy.
Everybody was outside.
And that was an added reason why my mom's was like, okay, we might got to go. Because I don't know if you remember it was just murder central, like in all the Bay Area. It was just crazy. It was real. And that's when I knew it was bad. But before then, you didn't really look at it as bad place. We used to just go everywhere by ourselves as kids, as early as 5, 6 years old.
Not even tripping.
Yeah, we was just outside doing anything. And by 8, 9 years old, we was getting on a bus on Muni going across the city by ourselves. So we didn't look at it as a bad place until the murder really intensified like heavy. Then it was like, okay, it's tricky. We got to make sure we move carefully because it's ugly.
And did you, as a younger dude, did you realize like I have to be on point out here? Or was that not really in your brain?
One of the things my aunties, my mama and my aunties and my uncle always, you had to be careful who you go around because some people chose the streets very early. So you just really had to be careful of going around them because then the moment you were around them and something happened, now you in it. You know what I'm saying? Now you fully in it. So I was always cautious about the people I hung around and the places I went, but more important, the people I hung around because we was all still going to Black Saturdays and we was all going to
What's
parties.
Black Saturdays?
Black Saturday was a popular party that was going on in the Bay Area. It was like, every like the first month, every Saturday or something, it was called Black Saturday. Okay. And they would rent out some gym or Sons of Italy or, just some venue there, just rent it out, you know what I'm saying? And it'd be a party. It was lit. It was super lit. But, then it got dangerous, but we still was going. You know what I'm saying?
And in your household, you have moms and pops?
Nah, it was really just my mom, and my step-pop came a little later on, but my pops, he still would pick me up from time to time, you know what I'm saying? My pops he was around, but we not as that close all like that.
Got you. Were you kind of like a latchkey kid? Could you go in and out of the house as much as you want, or were you mainly in the house? Or
Nah, hell no. We never stood. Staying in the house was like punishment. Hell no.
These kids don't know nothing about that.
Hell no. We was always outside, whether we was going downtown, whether we was going I remember we went to go see Baby Boy like 3 times. Mind, we was hella young.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Said 3 times.
Just because it was all the sex scenes in there and it was a good ass movie. But we made sure we was to the movies or we was doing something. We was always outside. Hell no. Staying inside? Hell no.
Got you. So then what was the transition like then from Hunters Point to Antioch? Was that weird for you?
One of the biggest things is transportation because in the city that we got public transportation that's quick every 10, 15 minutes. Antioch, they bus Tri-Delta Transit come every hour. So it's harder to get around. So now you on foot or you trying to find a ride or, you know what I'm saying, you at this bus stop, you missed the bus, you got to wait a whole nother hour. So that was a big shock and the people were a big shock. You know what I'm saying? It was.
Go deeper in that. What do you mean?
Like I said, the people didn't really understand us. They didn't the way we communicated. They didn't understand like the way we thought. They didn't understand the way we grinded. They didn't understand the way we moved. So what
was it more like out there? Was it more white people out in Antioch back then, or what was it?
It was more everybody was acting white. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just keep it real. And I hate to say that, but they weren't urban. They weren't cultured. You know what I'm saying? They like before all the hood moved to Antioch, they was just shopping at Burlington Coat Factory for everything. That was like the marquee store to go to. People was at but we was at, you know what I'm saying, City Trends and shit like that, getting fly shit, getting Averexes, getting the new Jordans, getting the new Platinum Fubu, getting the new, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, the white tees back in the day.
Yeah, we was on that. Like we was on that, you know what I'm saying? But learned a lot.
So was it a big transition then? And did you feel like you were easily transitioned into living in a place like that?
Hell nah, that shit was hard. That shit was hard. Like moving to Antioch, you trying to like fit into this new culture now. You trying to navigate this new culture, but you also coming in like your old self. So it's like, what the fuck? Then you find out in Antioch, now all the little thoughts, they like the tough guys. all the little thoughts, y'all like the street niggas. So fuck it. I'm about to be a street nigga. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Mind you, I ain't never been
where I'm from?
You know what I'm saying? So you start acting like that. Now you trying to be a too tough Tony, try to be something that you never was. Cause now, cause mind you, the women in Antioch, way different from the city.
Yeah.
Way different. Not thicker, nicer look. They got a different diet, so it just
He said a different diet.
The whole thing is different. You know what I'm saying?
Blue Saigon? No, wait, hold on. No,
so you trying to like, hell yeah, that's what y'all like. So you start trying to like be tough and that shit don't go well. You know what I'm saying? When you trying to be tough and prove yourself, ignorant. A lot of niggas do that. Try to be tough, and man, back home you was a square like a motherfucker.
So as far as that goes, did you see the transition of Antioch during your time? So when did that start happening?
I don't know. I can't give you a year. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna say during the hyphy movement.
But you could see it sort of changing, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
During the hyphy movement, Antioch started changing. That's when it really shifted. It was already shifting before then.
Yeah.
Hyphy movement, it really shifted because that's when they really was pushing everybody to Antioch. That's when you had literally everybody from Oakland, everybody from the city, everybody from Richmond and Antioch. And even if they wasn't living in Antioch, they were still coming to Antioch now because everybody was telling about
out there, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep, just like I said, Black C said that. He's like, man, they infiltrated that city. He's like, I'm sure they doing it over there in fucking Pinole and all that now. Yeah. So that, I mean, I always think about Antioch when I think of Antioch, like I said, a mixing pot of just like everything. So I was just curious if you noticed how that switched up.
Yeah, you seen it. Now you got niggas walking around with the pea coats in 100-degree weather, and you got a bunch of niggas walking around twisting when everybody was starting their dreads up. Everybody was walking around doing it. You seen the shift. You seen it like, oh, this shit changing.
Hey, the pea coat, short dread era.
You know what I'm saying? With the Gap hoodie under. Yeah, you seen that going on. You know what I'm saying?
With the Gap hoodie, you gotta add that.
With the Gap hoodie, so it was serious.
Yeah. So let's go into this then. As far as like, what is the story behind C Legal and Sealy? Like, what is the name?
Look, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I've never had a tattoo. I've never even bought a grill. You know what I'm saying? I've always been my own person, always had my own path. But everybody I hung with did all of that. Smoke, drink. They were stealing and all that. So it just naturally came like C Legal because I was never on that. So that came from my cousin. That came from my cousin QG, my cousin JJ, and my cousin Jesslyn, who I used to be around all the time. And they was just, C Legal, and it just stuck. And I just
living legally.
You know what I'm saying? That stuck since I was like young. Because you got to understand, they was fucking at 12 years old, 13. They was already active. I didn't start fucking until 15. That's hella early, but for them, it was late because they was already active. You know what I'm saying?
Got a kid. Got a kid on the way.
You know what I'm saying? So they just called me. The legal thing just naturally went with who I was because I was always just on my own path. I never was trying to be like everybody else.
I feel that. So when I first connected with you, which was a long, long time ago, you were running a clothing business.
Yes,
what is the story behind all that?
Well, when I graduated high school, I started reading a lot. And a lot of the shit I was reading, I was like, man, I want to put this out without being hella preachy. Because I recognize don't nobody really respect no preacher just always talking at them.
Yeah.
So my goal was to like say little fly, like wise type things, but put it on a shirt and make it look dope. You know what I'm saying? And one of my biggest shirts was "He who has the gold makes the rules."
I remember that one.
You know what I'm saying? And that literally made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Shout out to Jadakiss. He wore it. Matt Barnes wore it, and a ton of other celebrities wore it. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, it got big. And
so let's go a little deeper into that, right? So what started you out? What was your first thought of like, okay, I'm going to make shirts, and how did that evolve?
It really started from reading books. Okay. Literally, I'm reading Think and Grow Rich. I read, the Malcolm X autobiography. What else? I was just reading a ton of books. The Secret. I even read The Secret. That book when it came out. And I'm like, I want to put these quotes on shirts. These things that I'm learning from different books, I want to put them on quotes, and I did it. Now, first, it was weak. My shit was looking ugly.
To go back a little bit, screen printed? How's this process? So you get a screen printer, or what are you doing?
Essentially, I was finding graphic designers because I didn't know how to do the graphic design. Okay. So I was like asking my cousin then I got in contact with actual graphic designers. Pay them some money. This is what I want. This is how I want it to look. They put it together. And I essentially put it out, and then it just took off from there.
That's crazy. So you said you were making hundreds of thousands off those designs.
Yeah.
But it's understandable, though, because what you were doing was, first of all, it was dope. Like the saying sounds tight, but then also you were getting quality designs for people.
Absolutely.
Taking your time to make it a quality product.
Again, this is when graphic tees was hot. This is when Wiz Khalifa first came out. He was on his graphic tee hype. And you know what I'm saying? And he had the patch in his head. Graphic tees used to be a thing, and Chris Brown was wearing the graphic tees. Graphic tees was a thing, like, you know what I'm saying? A huge thing.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to say something dope and put this out. And it worked. It took some time, but it worked.
So let me ask you this: as far as building that buzz for those shirts, how did you get the product to the people?
I remember when I first started, my first tee was garbage. It was super garbage. It said like Swagnificent on it.
God.
It was garbage. But I gave away the testers. I gave away the testers. I was going to barbershops because I was getting my hair cut every week, like I still do. And I'm here, take this shirt, have my partners, friends, family. You know what I'm saying? If I'm talking to a female, you rock it. And slowly but surely, that word of mouth caught up. But I was giving away the free testers. You know what I'm saying? You learn that from the drug dealers. They always teach you about the free testers.
Facts. So you did that. That was the first process. And then, so when you say you're selling this many of that shirt, nowadays it's easy. You got drop shipping. You were in a different time when you were.
No, I wasn't doing no drop shipping.
Yeah.
I was ordering. Shout out to because I went through a bunch of different screen printers, but shout out to D&D Screen Printing. That's Devin Lars. They was actually printing for Pink Dolphin early on. They
don't know about that Pink Dolphin.
You know what I'm saying? They was printing for Pink Dolphin, and I met them, and they was doing a lot of my printing. So I was keeping track by that because I was having my order sheets. I need 200 of this design, 200 of this design, and I'm selling it for this much. You know what I'm saying? And I'm running through this. Every so often, I'm coming back every 2 weeks, at least twice a month. I'm coming back to get some more and get some more and get some more. And I'm getting 100 here, 200 there. And
you know
what I'm saying?
Dope.
Yeah, it was like dope. And you just keep reading up to the point where I got my own shop at one point. I had my shop for like 2-3 years.
And what was that shop called? Did you have a name for it?
I called it the Sealy Headquarters. It was in
Sealy
Antioch,
Headquarters,
California.
right.
It was called the Sealy Headquarters.
And that was where?
Antioch. It was in Antioch.
Okay, so still in Antioch.
Yeah.
And how was it opening that store? Was it cracking, or what was going on in there?
It was tough. Having a store is tough because it wasn't on a main street because I didn't have a commercial space. I had a tucked off space, so I had to generate my own traffic.
You had like an office, in like a building or something?
Exactly. And then I turned it into a store. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough because then we in there cussing and listening to music, and the cool part about it is it's a therapist that's got kids in therapy next to me, and the walls is paper thin.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm saying? So they
loved you.
Yeah. But I was young, just trying to do it. I'm just trying to make a way out of no way. I was literally just trying to make a way out of no way.
And I remember, I can remember to this day you posting that, pictures of your racks that you had.
Absolutely.
You had what would you consider like a shelf? It was like
the little square, little cubby things. I had that in my shop, but before that, I was out my living room, and I used to post my whole inventory on my living room floor. I still got some of those pictures. I was posting my inventory on the floor, like this what I got, and people would just come and I would just out the back of my trunk, or people would pull up on me just all day and night. I would work security at night, and during the day, I was slinging shirts.
So, what do you think, as far as being that much of a hustler, because, like I said, nowadays, it's a lot easier to have a clothing line, right? You have social media. You can make something pop on a TikTok real easy. You were saying you were getting 200 shirts and stuff like that at a time. What made you act that way? What brought that out of you?
I had to.
Okay.
My mom never let me be reliant or dependent on nobody. My mama always made me be like, okay, you got to get your own. I moved out 4 months after I graduated high school. 4 months after I graduated high school, I moved in with my sister. A year later, I had my own space.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's I always had to go get it on my own. I was never expecting nothing from nobody.
Yeah.
I always had to be self-sufficient. It wasn't nobody finna give me nothing or take care of me. It just wasn't gonna happen.
So that was instilled in you from a young age.
Yeah, we always had to get our own.
Yeah.
Always had to get our own. You can never be begging or complaining about what nobody did or didn't give to you. Nah, we always had to go get our own. Had to.
Yeah, that's fire. And I think that's a good point. Is being because I'm a father, and I clash with myself sometimes as far as how much I want to give my kids. You know what I'm saying? And I think having the struggle of having to make your own is so important.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think nowadays, bro, you look at how these gamer kids make more than their parents.
Absolutely.
How do you even get over that? How do you even raise a kid that's making more money than you? It's just That's crazy to me to even think about.
Absolutely, it is crazy. But the things are always evolving. So
Yeah.
as they evolve, we just kind of got to evolve with the times.
So as far as nowadays, you still have designs and stuff, right?
Yeah, I still put every so often I'll put something out, but right now I just don't have the time to go out the trunk. Because what's crazy is, like, when I was going out the trunk, people wanted the shirts, but when I went online, it's like they didn't want to buy them online. They like, we want to get it from you.
Yeah.
If we can't get it from you, we don't really want it.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that for so long with my merch. Like, the online thing never worked for me. People always wanted to get it directly from me. I don't know what it was, and I still can't figure that out to this day.
Well, I think it has to do with you being you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are the face of your brand.
That's true.
And I deal with that too, with wanting to expand more in what I do. And people want me at everything. And when you get to a certain point, I can't be there.
I can't be there for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then if you're not there, it's like, oh, I'll wait for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, why do I got all this if you just want me?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it was tough.
So yeah, that's crazy. So what was the point that you knew, like, this is not working anymore? Like, I'm done.
When I had to close my shop down, because the reality of it is, in clothing, once you get so big, if you don't evolve into something bigger, then it's like, okay, they get tired of you at a certain point. Once you reign supreme, once you really, for 3, 4, 5 years, because I was out the trunk 2, 3 years before I even got my shop, and then I had my shop for another 3 years. So I was going crazy for at least 5 or 6 years.
Right.
It gets to a point in clothing where it's like, everybody got that now. Everybody got this now. Everybody wearing this now. And in fashion, it's like, once you get too common or too familiar, it's easy to fade out, especially if you don't know what you're doing. I'm fresh out of high school. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to put out shit I like.
Trying to make shit happen.
I didn't know nothing about cut and sew and putting together jackets and shit like that. And I didn't even have like the resources to do that at the time. I didn't know how to do it. So it's like, you kind of just dwindle out. Now it's like, you can't even give this shit away because people don't want it no more. You know what I'm saying?
Many. It's too
common. It's too popular. So it's like, fuck this shit.
So was that a hard time for you where you just
what?
had to...
When this is your baby and you built this from the ground up and now it's like coming to an end, that shit is depressing. Yeah. You in this shop all day on a Saturday, ain't nobody coming through. That's why I always try to support small businesses on Black Friday, because I ain't gonna never forget when I was in there hoping people would come spend some money on a Black Friday and nobody came through. And I'm in this shop all day from 8 in the morning to damn near 9 and 10 o'clock at night, not making no money.
Yeah.
And that's common for small brands.
Oh, yeah.
You can go a month without no sales. You know what I'm saying? When you're an upcoming brand, and it's like, damn, man, I just wish somebody would come spend some money. But essentially, they're going to pick Gucci and everything over you, and you're going to come after that. They're going to pick Target over you, and if they got some extras, you're going to come after that. And that shit didn't feel good, and I didn't really know what I was doing. The only thing I knew was how to promote. You know what I'm saying? Post it, do this, have this person wear it, or do this. And that shit, that shit hurt it. That was some depressing times. I can't even lie. When your baby dying, essentially it's your baby. That shit don't feel good at all.
Well, it's crazy that you say they'll go for the Gucci or they'll go for whatever else, but then turn around and say, okay, Seely's right in front of me, but I'm not going to buy his shit. That's fucked up.
And you just learn, like, the bigger brands have a certain brand consciousness. They know how to market. They know how to distribute. They know how to not make it accessible to everybody. They know their price points. They know how to play on the minds of the people. This is something I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
They understand it, so that's why they have longevity.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They know, I don't care how you feel, my prices is $600 for this wallet, $600 for this purse. You know what I'm saying? On the other hand, when you a kid just trying to get off this merch. All right, I'm doing deals. I got this for 20. I got this for 10. Come on, pick it up. I buy one, get one free. You just trying to get this shit off, not knowing you cheapening your brand to a certain degree by doing that. And once you do that and you start looking desperate in the eyes of the people, you lost them.
Yep.
The moment you start looking desperate, you lost them.
Yeah, well, and that's why I feel like even like in the videographer world, I see a lot of these videographers fucking their brand up because they're like, $200 sale today. Come fuck them. I'm like, bro, like, don't do that.
Now they just gonna wait for the next sale.
But it fucks the economy up.
Yeah.
Because the people that want to charge more are gonna be like, great, now I have to dwindle my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're competing with the $200. Yeah.
So as far as, I don't feel like that was a failure. I feel like that was something that you learned a lot from, right?
Definitely.
Do you feel like that kind of helped you in a sense to be like, okay, now I've got a lot of learning lessons from that situation?
Absolutely, because in my shop, when my shirts weren't selling, we kind of turned it into a podcast before podcasts were a thing. Meaning we would just have a conversation about topics.
Yeah.
We was just having conversation about a variety of different topics. And that's how I end up started my show when I closed my shop.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about a variety of different things. So when I closed my shop, now I'm back to security. I get on Instagram Live when Instagram Live kind of first was introduced to the app. And now we're just having conversations on Instagram Live about topics.
Wow.
Same thing I used to do in my shop. And that popped off.
So that was kind of a sign about the future.
At the time, I didn't know. At the time, I'm just having a conversation at work. You know what I'm saying? And I tell everybody this. This is the reason why all my shows started at 9 o'clock, because my security shift started at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I would just be on live for hours, you know what I'm saying, just getting through my shift. By the time I'm done with live, my shift halfway over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take a little nap or something, now I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So it was like, that prepared me for that, helped my communication skills, helped me with topics, and it built me to that. And the IG Live thing opened up a lot of many different doors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy. How did you first connect with Thizzler?
Through Remedy, who actually I met at my shop.
The producer?
Remedy 415.
Gotcha.
Not just, hold on, we can't do that. I can't minimize him just to no producer. Facts. Remedy is a videographer, shot some of the biggest videos in the Bay ever.
Really?
Drop it to the clap. Yes, drop it to the clap. Remedy shot that.
No shit. Okay.
He shot me up. Yeah. Remedy got hit songs from Toot It Up, Don't Love Me. He got major songs. Then what else? Rem is managed. He managed Bean and Zay.
I was going to say, he is a manager. I know that.
Rem has literally done everything. Rem is one of the most underappreciated people in Northern California history because he's done so much. You got to understand, like, he was on tour with Roach Giggs, and Draco the Ruler last song that he released when he was alive was on a Rem beat.
Damn.
Look how extensive that history is.
That's
you know
wild.
what I'm saying? You was on tour with Roach Giggs, Bay Area legend.
Shout out Roach Giggs.
Performing. And then Draco the Ruler, one of the biggest influences on the West Coast, got a bunch of songs over Yo Beats. The last one he released on Yo Song, while he was alive, was on Yo Beat. So
all in a wheelchair, too.
All in a wheelchair. All of this in the wheelchair. Yeah, and Rem introduced me to the game. So before I was even introduced to Thizzler, I was helping Rem with his brand. So I was running around with Rem for years, and Rem is giving me all this game and knowledge about the industry. Rem is giving me all of this information about the industry. And then Rem, who used to be watching my IG lives too, was like, hey, Thizzler, I know y'all can use some help. This right here, he got something good going on.
Wow.
And in time, I went to Thizzler. They, tried to have me do some editing and shit. That didn't work out because I didn't, I don't want to be sitting behind no computer all day. And then they eventually like, let's try the IG Live. Popped off immediately. We ain't not went live since.
Well, okay, so let's go back to this day, right? So they offer you to go live on their channel, on their Instagram page, yeah? Mm-hmm. So what did that meeting happen? How did that, with Matt Werner and all them, or what?
Yeah, this was with, this is Matt and Tyrese. But essentially what happened was when I walked into Thizzler, I came in wanting to do a hood-to-hood style show. I'm like, what a lot of the people doing now, like, going to different neighborhoods, I wanted to do that because I remember the hood-to-hood DVDs.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Still got mine.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, let's bring that back. Mind you, this is 2019.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's bring that back. They like, look, we don't have the budget for that right now. So they like, can you help us with this? I'm like, come on, I'll help. You know what I'm saying? Look, let me learn the ropes because I'm in my learning phases. So let me learn everything. So I'm trying to do the editing shit. That shit hard as fuck. Shout out to all the editors. That shit take time.
Thank you.
Know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the editors. So then eventually they like, let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Because they see I'm still doing my live show on my own page and my shit going crazy.
Yeah.
We tried on
What are the views looking like back then? What is that? What is crazy?
On my true story on my show, I can easily go to 300-400 in the night.
Oh, okay. Dope.
Just live viewers at one time.
Yep.
This was when I first started because it was so controversial, the topics, and I was wilding. We was talking about sex. We was talking, and depending on if we talking about sex or some street shit, 400 easy. If we just talking about a regular topic, 200,
this
250
is at the security
easy.
office?
This is at the security office going live. You know what I'm saying?
And they weren't tripping off you being on live? They didn't.
I was there by myself. I would only work security shifts where I'm by myself and it's nobody there.
What type of security job was it? It was like in the city or something, or?
I had a bunch of ones, but
Okay.
my stint where the live really got popping, I was working at a marijuana grow house, Oakland, California. You know what I'm saying?
Damn,
That's
that's
what
dangerous.
dangerous as fuck. But once I started learning like the ropes and seeing how everything was going, I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I was just like, I need to get through this shift to get me through this anxiety. Because if I just sit here, just you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be tweaked out. I'm gonna be tripping, like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
But
sorry, we got to go in a little deeper on this.
come on, educate me.
So this was at a grow place or a
Oakland,
club?
California. No, there wasn't no club. It's where
Mm.
they grew. It was the grow house where they grew it and trimmed it. Yeah, that's where I was
So they
at.
hired you out. They got you at what, like midnight by yourself at this grow out?
From 9 to 6.
Bro.
9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning.
So I've never really gotten to talk to anybody about this because I know that happens, right? Security is a big thing. What crazy shit did you see people trying to rob the place, or it was just always chill?
I'm gonna tell you two stories.
Okay.
One, when I first started, the funny thing is I used to work for a company that put me at the grow house, but the grow house owed the company like $30,000-$40,000. He couldn't afford it, but he liked me, so he kept me around. He kept me around like, look, bro, can I just pay you directly because I can't afford to pay this? Because what people don't know about security is if you getting $20 an hour, the company is getting $40 or $50 an hour.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what they get. So he like, look, I can't afford to pay them. Let me pay you directly. We negotiated a number. I'm working there. So my first couple months working there, 3 people come and they trying to, look, they obviously finna break in. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm in here. By the grace of God, they just left.
Wow.
Never came back. They just left.
Did you yell at them, or you just
Nah, it was like, hey, bro, I'm
here?
in here, bro. I'm in here, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm in here. Just like that. Like, I'm
How
in
many
here.
people was it?
It was 3 of them.
Oh,
And
all
I'm looking at
masked
the
up?
camera. Yeah, I'm looking at the camera because, our grow house got a bunch of cameras. So I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, bro, I'm in here. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, my car parked right in the front. They just left, never came back through the grace of God. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
God.
But what really happened, the craziest story that happened was, I think he ran out of money to stop paying me.
Okay.
So he let me go like 2 weeks before Christmas. He let
I
me
heard
go.
about
He let me go 2 weeks before Christmas. True story. 6 months later, mind you, I ain't stole nothing. I don't smoke. I don't drink. It's cameras everywhere. I don't sell no weed. I ain't stole nothing. And this is proof because 6 months later, he asked me to come back. I'm working. I went back to my company now and I'm working at a different site. And I'm still going live. I'm working at a different site.
Yeah.
Around that time, though, the looting is going on. They're looting everything. It's going
like
crazy.
George Floyd time, or what?
Yeah, it was around George Floyd time.
When it
So
was
he
fired up.
Yeah, he asked me to come back. So I'm sure they're trying to break in. Then a little after that, the security guard at that same site gets shot. I tell that story because if he would have never let me go, I would have stayed there. I was comfortable there. I was doing my live there. I knew this like the back of my hand. I was still working. If he would have never let me go, I would have still been there. Security guard got shot. He tried to bang it out with them because they were shooting at him. It was a shootout.
This
Security
was on
guard
the
got
news and
hit.
stuff, too?
It was on the news. Mind you, I don't even watch the news. You know how you don't watch the news and it just, I used to work there. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch the news. That's for old people.
Bro,
and
that
it,
was God telling you
it was
shit.
God. It had to be because I never watched the news. And it was like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? I used to work there. I'm looking at the building. I see the owner on the screen. I'm like, oh, shit. I would have been there. Security guard got shot. God bless him.
Did he die?
Nah, he didn't. He survived, but he definitely got shot.
And when you were working there, this was how many years ago?
This probably was like 20. He let me go 2019, 2 weeks before Christmas. The looting and all this shit happened 2020.
And the game now, like people hitting licks on buildings is so crazy now. In Oakland especially, they're fucking going right through the front door with a truck, taking everything.
Here's the crazy part. A lot of people don't notice. When you have a legal grow operation, your address is public record. It has to be legally.
Wow.
So somebody
know that.
somebody easily can look this up. And I learned this from the owner. Easily look this up where the grow house is at and was just cramming them.
Yep.
And that's what they was doing all 2020. They was cramming grow houses. They was cramming dispensaries. Anything that had some weed in it was getting hit.
That's got to be some setup by the federal government.
It got to be something
let them
crazy.
Know where wow, wink, wink.
Yeah, that was Manny. But luckily, I wasn't there because I'm not one of those people that jump job to job every 6 months. Once I'm somewhere, I'm there for the long haul. And I was already at that job for 2 years.
Yeah.
I was already there for 2 years, going on 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So if he would have never let me go, I 100% would have been there, that security guard. And I'm just thankful he let me go for no reason. Sometimes it's a gift and a curse. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, thanks for going deeper on that. But anyway, so let's get back to this first Thizzler live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you come in there, they say we want to do a live. Have you host it, or what was the idea
Essentially, what Thizzler seen what I was doing on my page. You know what I'm saying? Because Rim already told him about me. They was already seeing who they bringing into their company. They looking like, who is this? And they seen what I was doing on my page, and it was going so crazy. They're like, let's try it on our page. So before we was doing like showcases, we were having talk shows. We were talking about Bay Area politics in the music industry and talking to DJs, talking to different people, and we was having a variety of different shows. So we was doing what I was doing on my page, except we was doing it for the music industry on Thizzler page. And how it turned into showcases is because one day we had a show that I didn't want to do. I'm like, I don't want to do this shit. Like, this shit ain't working. So I just scrapped that and just did a showcase. Mind you, we had guests lined up. I scrapped it. We did a showcase. The showcase did better than any other show we did. We ain't stopped doing showcase since that day.
Hold on. So you basically put your foot down and said, I'm just going to do whatever I want?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a risk because you got to understand these people have been in business 10 years before me. They have a lot more experience in music than before me, but I'm like, I know these people. I know these people very well. I know what they want. I can see what they want. I gave them what they wanted, and we've been doing showcases literally ever since.
Wow, that's crazy. That's funny, though, that you just said, nah, we ain't doing that. We doing this.
I mean, as a creative, because sometimes you got to just put your foot down. Sometimes Sometimes like, okay, nah, we're not doing that.
I really like that, though, too, because, I mean, that's really a story of, like, taking a risk that could be, like, you're fucking out of here.
Absolutely.
Or it could be, bro, you just changed the game.
Absolutely.
And now you can look back on them and be like, I'm thankful I did that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So as far as like the earlier lives and stuff like that, right, I want to kind of go into this. One that really stood out to me that I was looking at is the EBKJaaybo, where he jumped on live way back in the day. Skinny EBKJaaybo.
I think he was fresh out.
Jumped on the live. And do you remember how that went down? Like what that situation was?
I remember they was going crazy for him in the comments back then. Get Jaaybo on, get Jaaybo on, get Jaaybo on, get Jaaybo on. He's just humble, good kid. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to rap. I'm like, damn, this nigga can rap.
Yeah.
He was going crazy. Mind you, I didn't know it was that big of a thing because I'm so focused on me and other shit that's got going on because at that time we was having like Mozzie on and I interviewed Burner before. I'm looking at them. I'm not even knowing who this is. I wasn't really hip to Stockton and Briss and all them at this time.
This is a different time.
Yeah, I'm a city nigga. I'm knowing about, the little Kaylas. I'm knowing about, shit that's going on in the city. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not knowing about the Stockton and the Sac wave like that at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. But he went crazy. I'm like, oh, he hard. You know what I'm saying?
So he goes on the live, right? Does he, I forget, I didn't watch the whole video, but does he do like a acapella or what?
Yeah, he did. He did an acapella. He did an acapella and he did it a few times actually. He jumped on a few times, but I think the one on YouTube is just the one they screen recorded.
Yeah.
He jumped on a few times though and went crazy. You know what I'm saying? And back then, I'm gonna keep it real. I would have never knew he was gonna be as big as he is today. I would have never known that. Right now, he's like these young niggas, Tupac almost.
Oh yeah, Northern California goat for sure, right?
And I thought it was just Northern California. It's way bigger than that.
Yeah, I bet.
Oklahoma, New Mexico,
yeah,
all in Washington. They all copy his flow. Yeah. They all copy his beats. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you like this. What I really like about EBKJaaybo, especially from the beginning, was his style is very ironic, right? Because he'll be rapping on, like he started the rapping over samples that are like a female singing about some love shit, but he's rapping about some grimy stuff over this beat. And that was like a different vibe than, because what we came up on is like hard mob shit. And you know what's coming with that. But you would hear these certain beats that he would rap on and I would just be like, damn, what the and it was like almost emotional. That's what I really respected about that too.
Well, one thing I learned about him outside of just his talent is his fearlessness. I think that's why them kids love him so much. He is a fearless young nigga. He don't care. Mind you, he's only 19. You would think he was 27.
He's 19 right now.
19 years old.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And he's fearless. He don't care. He's going to say what he want. He's going to, it don't matter if you like it, if you love it, if you hate him. He don't care. You know what I'm saying? So his fearlessness is, I think, part of the reason why he's successful.
So, and then another, I guess, highlight for like Thizzler lives for me is Lil Seeto. As far as like a person that stands out personality wise. Do you remember when because he kind of got his rise from the Thizzler lives,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
So do you remember when you first locked in with him?
Hell
on those?
yeah. Seeto posted it on TikTok. Essentially, Seeto got on trying to rap, but he didn't want to show his face.
Really?
And so I heard him start rapping. I'm like, hold on, wait, show your face. So he showed his face, put the camera down. It's a white boy with some glasses on talking all this gangster shit. I'm laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? So then what happens is Seeto rapping, but he's so nervous, he fumbles and logs himself off.
Oh,
you know what I'm
shit.
saying? So, and then I'm laughing, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm laughing. But I keep getting him on after that. Seeto kept getting better and better and better and better. He kept improving and he kept getting better, kept getting his confidence up. Thizzler like, oh, he going kind of crazy. Invite him to the Thizzler Cypher.
Right.
Cypher goes viral. Next thing you know, this nigga on tour with YG, features with Blueface, getting deals, all in LA, got his teeth fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Insanity.
That one thing about Seeto is a master networker and a master hustler. Young nigga too.
He's probably what, like 19 himself, right? 19,
I think Seeto just turned 18.
Wow.
Just turned 18.
So I think as far as that goes, and I'll say this, you are really good at curating the lives in that way, because one of my favorite parts about the lives is that there's reoccurring guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have what's bro's name? Lil Booga.
Booga, yep. Booga.
I liked how you kind of incorporate, like he was not really known and you incorporated him into the storyline of that.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. Character building is important in any industry.
Is that intentional on your
Yeah, it is. Because
part?
you kind of, once you see somebody has some talent and some work ethic, you want to use this to build them up. Because I can get random people on all the time, but the people don't want to just see me clicking people off because they weak. They want to see some talent too. They want to see they want to see some talent. So
Yeah.
I got my go-tos that I try to build up. And I mean, it's worked for a couple of people. Booga got a distribution deal.
Nice.
We seen what happened with Lil Seeto. A lot of producers have sold beats. A lot of people have gotten opportunities that I can't even remember at this time from being built up through the lives. So yeah, character building is important. I learned that just following Remedy around. That's why people like I Am Sue are so legendary. That's why Roach Giggs is so legendary, because I Am Sue is just not I Am Sue. I also gave you Pilo, also gave you Cool John, also gave you, you know what I'm saying?
Out.
I gave you a variety of different characters who you can also love through my platform. And it wasn't just his platform. I'm not going to say it's just him, but he was the head of the platform and he introduced others. So character building is a necessity in every industry. It can't just be you.
That's hella important though, because that's a good point of like somebody being talented, but also branching out to allow the other characters to flourish.
Absolutely.
And that's a good part of like a good leader is going to allow for them to be powerful at the same time.
Absolutely.
Because then they all come together collectively.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's super important.
Do you have any like funny stories of like stuff that's happened on Thizzler Lives? Like a memorable moment that you can remember that's maybe funny or like crazy?
Bro, I'm going to keep every week.
Okay.
Every week. I mean, a few weeks ago, a girl pulled her titties out.
What happens when titties get pulled out? Do they block you, like cut you off?
Shit, I try to cut them off because you don't want to be going too long. It'll get the whole page shut down. You don't want to do that when it's too much. You know what I'm saying?
Cancels Thizzler.
Hey, man. But honestly, it's so many memorable moments. I would be here all day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's too many to name. You know
I like the moments where it's you and a young kid that damn near is like rapping like EBKJaaybo. And then you just sit there like, I think recently you did a spelling bee with like...
Oh, yeah. So I think some people was mad at that, but God bless them. Essentially, it was this kid from Oklahoma, white boy, just, I got this big 40 on me, I'm like, look, if you can talk all this gangster shit, can you spell though? If you got this big 40 on you and you got all this hustle, okay, but do we have the basic necessities of reading comprehension, spelling, you know what I'm saying, and reading?
Spell Glock.
So I asked him to spell some words and he couldn't spell them, and he kind of like ran off. But I really wanted
nervous.
The message I wanted to send to him: if you're gonna be doing all this street shit, you're gonna have to know how to read too. You gotta know how to read the basic necessities. You're gonna have to know how to read and spell. It's a necessity.
Facts. Facts. Okay, let me ask you this. Thizzler is sort of like, as far as like the face of it is sort of like an anomaly in a sense. Do you feel like you are the face of Thizzler?
Unfortunately, you can no, not yes, I am. Let me stop lying. Yeah, I am. I can't even lie. Yeah, I am. I am. I am.
I agree too.
I am. I am. I can't
Yeah.
even deny it. I be trying to say no. I tell people all in. I don't own Thizzler. I don't even introduce
So
myself
you
to
get
people.
that a lot?
Yeah. I say it on the show. I don't own Thizzler. I don't want to be walking around stunting like I own something that I don't. That's not
Yeah.
who I am. I'm not a liar. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I own this. I'm Big Thizzler. No, I host this show. I got my own shit that has nothing to do with Thizzler. My own philanthropy work, my own clothing brand. I do my own show that has been successful for many, many moons. I got my own whole motion outside of that. But unfortunately, when people see me on Thizzler for this long, they've never had a long this show running this long. Unfortunately, I am. And I say unfortunately just because I don't own it.
It's a gift and a curse, though, probably.
It's a gift and a curse. That's why I say that. But shout out to Thizzler.
So let me ask you this then. Being that you are technically, when people look at it, the face of Thizzler, do you catch flack for things as far as that goes? Like,
yeah. Let me get into this. And I said unfortunately, but I don't mean that. Shout out to Thizzler. I fuck with Thizzler. I'm the face of Thizzler. You know what I'm saying? You can say that. Well, you can say that. I'm not saying that, but I understand if somebody says that. But
that's my opinion.
You know what I'm saying? What happens is when you deal with any company and, you essentially pick up their enemies and you pick up their narratives. So you catch flack where people be like, Seely, why you post this? Why you do this? I didn't post that. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Or Seely, you only promote this, not knowing Seely does philanthropy work year round. What the fuck are you talking about? You promote this.
Into that too, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna say I promote this? I don't. What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with me. So you pick that up, but at some point when you start learning this game, you come numb to it. Like you so ignorant. I can't respond to every ignorant person. Then I just be responding to ignorant people all day because everybody think they knows everything and they don't. So it's like, what the fuck? I'm not finna keep arguing with niggas.
Yep.
God bless them.
That part. So what is, on that note, what is the story behind the scissors?
Just, man, when you live, it's just, you can, your anxiety is up. You live now. So you got to keep these people entertained. You can't be just dry, just looking at your phone like, okay, hold on, wait, y'all. When you're doing something live, you got to keep these people engaged because 2 seconds of what they call dead air, you can lose an audience.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just be sitting there dull and dry. You got to keep something going. So the scissors was to control my anxiety and just keep the people engaged.
And you just randomly found scissors around?
I just randomly had some scissors at my desk, like, and it just worked out. True story.
So that's definitely like, when I think of Seely, I think of the scissors. I'm sure other people do. You know what I mean? Like so the scissors are a positive thing or a negative thing?
If the scissors are a positive thing.
You getting cut.
if you going crazy, I'm snapping the scissors. Okay. If you weak, I'm gonna just click you off. So people thought the scissors would snip you out of here, but the scissors is actually a good thing. If you get scissors, that means you're going crazy.
Let me ask you about that then. So you get, because man, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes you roast people out the building on these lives, which people need to hear this type of shit, by the way.
You know?
Do you get people in your DMs like pissed off?
That's how I know I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it real because when you're running a live show and you're doing it 3 days a week, I got some news for y'all. Every show ain't gonna be the greatest show.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have some off nights.
Facts.
And when you're not getting any reaction from people, that's when you should be worried. That's when you should be afraid when nobody's reacting, when nobody's feeling away. That's when you should be worried. But when a nigga just, man, you cut me off, nigga, you hate me. Okay, yeah, that's I know I'm doing my job. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm doing my job. Because eventually, when he come out of his emotionalism and he stop being mad, he gonna look back and be like, yeah, that was kind of weak. Rappers do it all the time.
Yeah, that shit was kind of weak.
Rappers do it all the time. They'll look back at their old shit like, yeah, that shit is kind of weak. I ain't gonna lie. This shit I got now way better than that. That shit weak. So it's just niggas be having the emotional rage. You know what I'm saying? You get it from his mama.
Have you ever had somebody in person say like, man, you X'd me out the shit?
Yeah, but it was all love though. Like, oh,
course.
you clicked me off the live, bro. But it was all love, but never nothing violent, never nothing aggressive. It'd be all love because
That's
the reality of it is most people are sensible humans.
Yeah.
So they're not taking it personal that they got clicked off a show, like, and knowing that's the rules of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So most people are sensible humans. I ain't met nobody that's just so emotionally enraged that they ready to take it there over a show. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't hurt nobody in your family. I ain't stole nothing from you. You simply got X'd off a show.
But I will say this to you though, is like people, like especially when you're in person with people, it's all laughs and smiles. But I do respect that about you, that you do hold people accountable for being weak. You know what I mean?
Somebody got
you know what I mean? Like because some people do need to hear that shit. It can't always be your homies like blowing you up, bro. Like I'm sure like a lot of rappers that came up in the game, they were like, man, I needed somebody to tell me I wasn't on my shit. I wasn't that fire. You feel me?
I mean, and that just come from, I mean, you got to understand, when you from the city, we was raised on keeping it real and talking shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
right.
in a respectful, loving way. It's not like I'm trying to diminish you.
Yep.
But if you got a weak ass outfit on, like, my nigga, that's weak as fuck. Go change that out, my nigga. I got something for you. This weak ass shit. You know what I'm saying? We was raised like that. So we was raised on harsh talk. We not raised on, hey, let me sit you down. Hey, you know, we wasn't raised like that. So I don't understand why would anybody would get mad? You didn't kill 13 people, shot the grandma, choked the dog, you know, stone cold stunner the, you know, the auntie. But you sensitive when a nigga say this not good? Where are you from? Because where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? Shit talking is a way of life.
You gotta have that thick skin.
It's a way of life. So I don't be understanding like, okay, you must not really be from where you say you from, because you can't be acting that sensitive and be from here, because I know how they talk here.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of shit don't be making sense sometimes.
That part. That's crazy. So let me ask you this, because you did bring up the charity work and stuff like that you do for the community. I'm very interested about that. Especially, let's just go over this first. I seen recently you took a group of kids to San Quentin. How did that come about, and how was that experience? Can you go from the beginning of that?
That was actually a while ago. I just reposted it because
okay.
You know, a lot of people don't be knowing the history about, you know, certain things. And I just wanted to educate them. And I would just, you know, be doing stories. But that came from people seeing me active doing things in the community. So I got a DM from somebody. I forgot who it was. They like, Celie, I see what you're doing. Look, they got this Squires program where you can, you know, take young men into San Quentin prison and teach them about the prison industrial complex and, you know, show them around the prison and, you know, the prisoners and educate them about what's going on. So that came about. I'm like, all right, come on, let's do it. I rented a truck, got all my boys together, and we went up there and we learned a lot from San Quentin prison.
So can you tell me about that experience? Like what happens?
For one, it's so much that I'm gonna be all over the place.
Okay,
so just follow me.
Yeah,
for one, the showers. That shit was blowing me, because you got to understand.
Hold on. Start from the beginning. So you walk in, right?
For one, you can't have no phones. You can't have no phones.
Okay.
They patting you down, checking everything. You got to wear all black.
You guys come in through the way, through like what is
they
that?
Got a parking lot. It's like a parking lot down here. You got to walk up here, leave everything in the car. You know what I'm saying? And then
these are what, 5 kids, 6 kids?
I think it was like six or seven. It was all like, at that time, it was all between like 14 and 16 or something like that.
Were they sweating?
Nah, they was cool. They was cool.
They were tripping. All right.
Nah, they was cool. You know what I'm saying? So you come in, you got to wait at the front, and then they come get you, and then you got to walk up to the jail. Then they checking everything. You know what I'm saying? You got to. Then they want you to wear all black. I don't know why, but you got to wear all black. So if you look at the picture I posted, we all got all black on.
I noticed that.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's like you come in like, for one, San Quentin just looked old. It looked old.
It's
like
a castle.
Yeah, it looked hella like, it looked depressing. Yeah. The aesthetic of it just looked depressing. Obviously, it's prison. But the thing that hit me is, for once, it's a mangy odor once you walk up into the dorm, like where the cells is at. Oh. Like it's a stench. Like what the?
Ooh, it's like right off the bat, you smell it?
Yeah, you smell it as soon as you walk into the dorm. It just hits you like, man, this shit is crazy.
Like BO or like just
like body odor, but just like a bunch. It's like a must almost. You know what I'm saying? Then the cells, you can't even really do this in the cell, because some of the, I don't know if all the cells like that, but what I seen, you can't even do this because the cells is so small and there's 2 people in there, top and bottom bunk, and they got like some of them got like a little TV.
So you guys are, so you walk in, you're walking through the tiers or what, where are you?
No,
guys?
you go through the tiers and then they got different little dorms. And then when I came, they had the commissary line going on too.
Is everybody locked up at this point, like in their cells or what's going
Yeah,
on?
hell yeah. Some people locked up, but then they got some people free too. And they got the guards and shit with us.
And you're just walking with these other kids, just
Yeah, walking
through
with the
there.
kids. And then we got the, the little prison guards and shit with us too and shit like that. So, and we just walked through the prison. Then they took us to the door again. They took us to the dorm. To the right is the showers, and then up right here is just like 3 stacks of just dorms of niggas just stacked on top of each other, The showers is mainly because they got the blacks and the Mexican, or they got the Mexicans in the black showers, they got the white showers, and it's like y'all shower at different times, and they said sometimes niggas be bleeding in there, and it's like you got to take a shower you got to take a shower with 3 other men. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you got a time shower. It was just so many. Then the cafeteria got a many leak in it. You know what I'm saying? And
are the guys walking with you? Are they like giving you like a tour of what's going on? Like, are they breaking shit down?
Yeah, they telling it's everything, but it's so much. You can't remember it all at once.
For sure.
Because
I was just curious. Like, I'm trying to envision like walking through this place and like, especially when you're a free person, it must be even more many because you just see dudes that are like, they've been there forever. You know what I mean?
Mind you, the cold part about it is the coolest part was the people locked up. The best part about it was the people locked up. They was hella cool. Nobody was trying to be on no tough shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't no scared straight shit. They was simply there to educate. Like, this what the fuck going on in here. Took us to the place like, look, yeah, you got to bend over and cough and spread your butt cheeks up in here. Change your clothes because they trying to check for contraband. You know what I'm saying?
You ever been to jail?
Hell no.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Thank
Hell
God.
no.
Thank God. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Hell no.
Yeah. But you see something like that and you're just like, bro, how could you ever man?
That shit was many. I don't wish that on nobody just because they essentially it's like they just in there it's like a hellhole.
Yeah.
It stank. The food ain't all that. It's a bunch of niggas. You know what I'm saying? It's old. This small, you just cramped.
So the kids come outside of that, right? After that's done, what do they say?
Well, one of the coolest parts is they sat down and talked to the kids like, what's going on in school? What's going on with your family? Just really talking to the kids, just being personal with them, you're not trying to scare them and tell them like, look, I got 50 years, I got 15 years. Then that's when I was learning they'd give people more time for a home invasion than they will for killing somebody sometimes. Damn. I know niggas who got 20 for a home invasion and other niggas who got 10 for deleting somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was just telling these stories about how the law works and I've been in here 50 years and this is some of the shit I had to deal with and I got kids I ain't never seen. You know what I'm saying? They're just telling their stories and just talking to the boys and the boys like, damn, this is crazy.
This ain't it.
This ain't it. Now, mind you, all the boys I went was already good kids. We was just all going in there for the education, the boys I brought. Yeah. They were already doing good in school. They're not bad kids. But I still think it's good to educate yourself on what's going on this prison industrial complex. And by the grace of God, none of them still have never been arrested, never been to jail. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a good informative thing, you know what I'm saying, to go through. But it was many. It was so much. Like,
I believe it.
It was many.
Well, and I think also, too, just letting them understand that this is a system that's messed up.
Absolutely.
And for them to, besides just like getting an understanding of like, I don't ever want to be here, understanding that the world has things that are messed up that are still not changed, even though we're in the future. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. One thing I think is important for young men to learn is consequences for action. It's consequences for being lazy. It's consequences for being a liar. Yeah. It's consequences for being a thief. It's consequences for having no work ethic. It's consequences for actions as a young man.
Yep.
You are like, there is nobody gonna spare you. Once you make a mistake, once you fall short, you will be held accountable.
Yep.
And it's nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Nobody gonna come save you. Therefore, it's good to hear from different voices. Like, it's consequences for actions. You will always be held accountable. Sometimes, even if you didn't do it, you're going to be held accountable.
There's people in there that have
There's people who didn't do it, who
still
innocent as a motherfucker in there. And that's just the game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so I definitely commend you on that. Like, as far as like, I've seen a couple like clips. I mean, I always see you posting, different things that you do, like the PS5 giveaways and stuff like that. How did you get into being like charitable and doing things like that?
Honestly, it started young. That honestly started young. That come from my family, but outside of just my family, it come from just being, in the neighborhood. Like I remember a guy named Kurt. His name Curtis Lane. His daddy was Big Kurt, and Kurt was like best friends with my uncle. So I used to be around Kurt a lot. Kurt was older than me, but Kurt was always hustling. Kurt was used to stand on Kirkwood from sun up to sundown, just hustling. You know what I'm saying? But Kurt, every time he seen me, because of the bond we had, because you know how my uncle and his dad was super cool, Kurt would give me $1, $2. One time my uncle, never forget, he gave me $5. He would always just look out, buy me an ice cream from the ice cream truck. So what Kurt was doing, not even knowing it, was planting a philanthropic seed in me. Because when I'm young, I'm like, I want to grow up and give the $1. I want to grow up and give the $5 too. I wanted to do what Kurt did for me, and I still remember this. And Kurt has been gone for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that plants a philanthropic seed in a child. So I said, I want to plant that same seed that was planted in me, that Kurt planted in me and my family planted in me. Yep. So that's what got me into it. And my whole life, I've pretty much been like that. Since I've been in position to help, I've always helped. Even back in high school, like if somebody couldn't afford prom, you know what I'm saying? I did it once in high school where he couldn't afford prom, and I make sure I got his tux for him, got his ticket for him and things like that. Fine. You know what I'm saying? So it just really got to be in you, because the reality of it is there is no glorification for doing philanthropy work for the community. It's not a glorious position. Yep. Most 99% of the things you do is going to get overlooked. It might even be underappreciated. Yep. So it has to be in you, because it's not something where people are going to be like, hey, look at you, you're such a good person. They're actually not going to pay no attention to it at all. So it's something that got to be in you. If it's not, you got to lead it. You got to leave that alone.
Yep. Well, and I think there's something to be said about doing stuff like that. Because, I mean, we do like turkey drives and toy drives and stuff like that too. And the thing that we don't realize is how important that can be to somebody. Mm-hmm. A turkey might not be nothing but $15, $20. But bro, that could change somebody's whole holiday.
Absolutely.
And nowadays, you know what I mean? Like, we're pretty successful people. We're doing all right. But to some people, that's a game changer.
Absolutely.
And what you said about getting that $1 or a couple of dollars from Kurt is like real important in my head, because I realize like nowadays somebody gives us $1, we're like, okay, what? Are you like offended? But back in the day when you're a youngster, you're like, bro, what? Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So to bring yourself and ground yourself in that way, I think is very important for people.
Absolutely.
And I think people don't do that enough.
Absolutely. You never know when you helping somebody what's that doing for their future, because it's like you want to be in that position. I'm gonna work my ass off so I can get in a position so I can help, because I loved how it felt when somebody helped me. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So sometimes it's not even about what you giving them. It's the fact that you did it, that you did something. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly. So Keith Lee recently came to the Bay and left with the quickness, saying that the Bay was Gotham City. What's your take on this situation?
Well, he said, he understands why people was calling it Gotham City. It's a few things I first want to say. I don't, for one, as the Bay, we ain't liars, so I don't like lying on people. For one, people was like, he only went to Oakland. That was a lie. So we shouldn't be lying on nobody, because in the Bay, one thing we pride ourselves on is keeping it real. Mm-hmm. That was a lie. Then they was like, oh, he went to the wrong places. I mean, he linked up with some of the most influential food influencers in the Bay, and they took him places. Right. So I don't know what y'all gonna consider the right places, but he did his due diligence. That would be wrong. Yeah. So that's another lie. Then people try to say, who the fuck is Keith Lee? He ain't nobody. That's a lie, my nigga. I don't care how you feel, but don't lie on nobody. For one, not only is this nigga tipping $500 and $1,000 to businesses, he's literally generating millions for businesses. Literally got TV shows on the way, multi-million-dollar deals. To say that is a lie. He ain't nobody. That's a lie.
Let's not forget, though, too, how crazy the Bay was before he got here.
Exactly. Everybody tag. Now all of a sudden he ain't shit. Never heard of. We not liars in the Bay, so I don't like how you should never lie on nobody. So that's one thing I'm gonna say about the Bay. But outside of that, I think it was a teachable moment. I think in the Bay, one thing we never want to do is be so arrogant and egotistical and popping it that we can't learn. It's important to learn. Yep. Okay, what are the right spots? So us as our own Bay Area can put our own list together, the dope spots we can go to eat. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can put our own list together and we can see what's good or not. Another thing we can learn.
But let's be real. Food is such an up to interpretation type thing.
Absolutely.
Nobody's ever gonna agree what's good and what's weak.
Facts.
Because
that's a fact.
Because like how you, like we say, like, would you want your family going to this place? Like when I think about what I would like, my family comes out of state. Where am I gonna send them? I might say someplace that you might go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Absolutely.
That weak.
It's true. That's true.
So let's be honest here. It's all up to what you feel. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
But guess how we counter that? Yes. Everybody put out their own food list and then let the audience choose how they decide.
Yep.
Since you think he went to the wrong spaces, everybody post their list so they following and everybody else can see where to go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we can learn from that. Another thing we can learn is to simply like, let's just pay attention to who's winning and let's not just get in our ego and essentially think we know everything. Let's not just think like, I got it all figured out. Hold on, this nigga's making some money. What could we learn from this? Right. What can we take from this?
Why did he go here?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
There's a reason.
Exactly. And what is he trying to do? How can I implement that into my program?
Yep.
I think it's always something to learn. But one thing I never want to do is, make it seem like, I don't need nobody. Make it seem like fuck everybody. Because the reality of it is a lot of people don't know this, so I'll educate you briefly. Small businesses matter, and like thriving matters because small business historically fund local politicians.
Wow.
And when you fund local politicians, because money fuels politics, right, you are able to get people in position and they can get laws passed that can help and affect your own community.
Damn.
So it does matter if somebody can come in and draw tourism money, because tourism money is a big thing. So not only will more locals know about this restaurant, the tourists coming out of town gonna try it and can quadruple this restaurant's income. And now not only do they got one or multiple locations, but now they have excess capital to fund politicians for, they can get zoning passed or they can get, jobs and shit passed or, things like that. So that matters.
Never thought about it that way. That's big.
That matters. You know what I'm saying? As far as like getting things accomplished. So yes, we do need help from outside resources sometimes. Yep. It would be a big boost to our economy, which we need, because people think because somebody has a business that they're making all this money. That is not true. Just because somebody has a business, just because somebody has a location, don't mean it's money being generated.
They might be broker than the person without it.
Exactly. So if somebody's coming in and trying to help, you don't want to shit on somebody that's coming in and try to help. That's not wise in any industry, whether you're a rapper, a restaurant. I don't give a damn if you do magic and magic tricks. When somebody's trying to help boost your economy, you don't want to say fuck them. That's not necessarily wise, in my opinion. But I think Keith Lee just wasn't ready for the uniqueness of the Bay Area. This is a very unique place with a very unique kind of people, and he simply just wasn't ready for how we are.
But let's not forget this either. The reason why totally in my opinion, the reason why I feel like the Bay Area loses a lot is because we hate on each other. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to like what you're saying about the food places, right? A food place gets picked up by Keith Lee, he does a review, right? You're saying we shouldn't hate on them for getting chosen to be looked at. But everybody comes in from the Bay, we're like, oh, we know better. Fuck them. They shouldn't have got the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a huge thing that we have to, a learning thing where we have to, like you're saying, bro, it's deeper than just, oh, they went to this restaurant or they did this. He gave us an opportunity to do better in the Bay. And people don't even understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Again, one of our biggest downfalls in the Bay is our gift and our curse. We stand out everywhere we go because we have a certain confidence about us. Yeah. We have a certain glow about it. Everybody does. When we come in the club, we can be in Houston, Miami, New York. We gonna pop it now, and I'm here.
They from the Bay. We know that.
From the Bay. Yep. But our arrogance and our ego and our pride is also our downfall, because when you're arrogant and egotistical and prideful, you're not at your highest intelligence because you're fully yourself.
Yep.
You only thinking about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you're not able to learn it from new information and gain new resources because it's just all you. And the reality of it is not everybody like that. And I'm learning that from the music industry. Everybody don't like a certain bravado you got about yourself. You might rub some people the wrong way like that. when the humility can get you further along in certain cases.
Well, what's crazy to me, and I'll say this about being from the Bay and then going to other places. When you're from the Bay, I feel like you have to be more on the edge. Like when you go to like I always like Seattle's a good place because we already talked about it. You go to Seattle and with the Bay mentality, it's like you got to be tough, you got to be hard. You go out to Washington, everybody's like, "Hello, how you doing? What's up? How are you?" And I'm sure you've been to places outside of Cali a lot, right? And you see the differences. It's like I feel like our attitude out here is just like we got to be so like tough. I don't know.
I think it's because we so in survival mode all the time, from whether it be making sure you ain't getting played out, making sure your bills is paid. We always in survival mode.
Not getting bipped.
Yeah, not getting bipped. It hardens you.
Yeah.
Because we got used to things that are not normal.
Yeah.
Bipping, worried about your car getting broke into, almost a guarantee is not normal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Paying $2,500, $3,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment is not normal. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the things we deal with is not normal. The pimp culture we have is not normal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's common for a woman to be giving a man some money. That's not normal everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Tricking is like frowned upon here. So it's like a lot of the things we deal with is not normal. So when we go to other places and we see other shit, it's like, the fuck is this? And it hardens us like, hold on. And our defense mechanism comes up.
That's a good way to say that, though, because I was going to ask you to go a little deeper about why the Bay is, like the way it is, because you said he wasn't ready for this environment. And
Not at all.
You just wrapped it up exactly the best way you could have said it.
Yeah, it's a lot of the shit we deal with is not normal. And only people who think it's normal is people who've never left the Bay.
Yep.
You've never really been to many other places.
How many people you know that have never left the Bay?
Oh, so many.
Yep.
That we don't even recognize. You're supposed to smile and say hi when you make eye contact with somebody.
Yep.
Hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. What the fuck you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Right on cue, because we know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. No, that's man. That is such a good point, though. Damn. All right, so it's sort of in the line of like how crazy the Bay Area is, and like in and out, leaving, places getting bid, blah blah blah. You've been vocal and like big on the Second Amendment on like social media and sort of like its importance. How important to you is gun ownership, and like, can you go in a little deeper about that?
I want to like. Especially to women, it's important to exercise your Second Amendment right, simply because crime is never going to go away. Fact. The higher cost of living the more people lose jobs, the more people don't have money. Historically, with every single race, black, white, Mexican, Asian, Hispanic, anybody, when poverty rises, crime rises. Poverty and crime go hand in hand.
Yep.
So if you're dealing with environments like that or people in those environments, you have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You have to protect what you've worked hard for. You have to protect your family.
Agreed. That's
just logical. You have to protect yourself, and you have a legal right to own a firearm. Now, you can't just go shoot somebody in California. You got to be defending human life.
I seen that interview you did with that lawyer.
Yeah, with Claire. You know what I'm saying? You have to be defending human life, but again, you still want to be able to defend yourself, because the reality of it is you can't control what nobody else going through. You can't control what nobody else financial situation. Yeah. You can't control nobody trying to take something from you. All you can do is defend yourself for it. Yeah. But to act like it's impossible to happen is not wise. That's why I'm big on gun ownership, because the reality of it is somebody can and will try to take what's yours or do something to you, and you have to defend yourself.
For sure. And are you CCW?
No, that's hella hard to get. I'm gonna keep it real. When you work in security, it's a little bit easier to get, but to get your concealed carry is extremely difficult. You got to go through paperwork, you got to go through interviews, and you have to get approved. Even though they quote unquote made it easier, it's still a very biased and prejudiced thing, because the reality of it is they only giving it to ex-police officers, and so you got to know somebody. It's not
Police
something you can
dangerous at all.
You know what I'm saying? You got to really know somebody to get in there, because I know a lot of people who filled it out, and it might take months, if not years, to get.
So that's a myth that it's easier in California right now, because I hear people saying that it's real easy to get that.
Hell no. If it was easier, you would see a lot more people with their gun on their hip walking around, and you ain't gonna see that no time soon because it's tough.
Okay, so let's go over that. The myth of the gun, like CCWs being easier to obtain.
Nah, hell no. That it's hella hard to get. It's not an easy process. It's a lengthy process. And again, they can just deny you like, I don't know, you might not be mentally stable enough to carry. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough process. And it's very prejudiced, it's very biased, it's very racist.
So there's people out there that are also scared to own a gun. Do you have any advice for people like who want to do it but are so worried that they might hurt themselves? Or
The reality of it is guns don't kill people, people kill people. Whew. You know what I'm saying? It's a very small percentage of guns that just go off by themselves. You know what I'm saying? And the reality of it is why you shouldn't be afraid to defend your family. Once you get your firearm or go rent one at the gun range, learn how to use it, get an instructor. There's plenty of instructors or people out there that can help you. Learn what you're doing, learn how to keep it safely away from children, and get you a firearm. You should definitely not be afraid of that. Nah, hell no. The reality of it is what makes you afraid? Why are you afraid? You should really ask yourself that. Do you think that?
I think it's ignorance for a lot of people.
You know what I'm saying? Like what makes somebody afraid to want to defend themselves? What makes somebody afraid? Because the enemy ain't afraid.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So the reality of it is the same way you can get in a car accident driving on the freeway is the same way, you know what I'm saying? Anything can go wrong if mishandling a firearm. But if you're responsible, you lessen the chance of anything going wrong.
Yep. And I think that's really where it comes down to, just educating yourself on that. Because there's a lot of people out here who have guns and don't know how to use them, and they will kill you with it for sure.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
learn as much as you can. You know
absolutely.
What I mean?
You never want your enemy to have one up on you. And then you have an enemy, whether you want to believe that or not.
So as far as like going back, just back a little bit, about music stuff with I just want to get your advice for artists. Like, you deal with a ton of artists right now. Like, what is your advice for artists to get noticed by you, maybe Thizzler, or just in general?
For one, the cliche answer, you got to be consistent.
Okay.
The reality, you're going to have to be consistent. The second one I would say is build your own audience. Don't wait for nobody. I just told y'all my story. I built my own audience, and Thizzler essentially got with my program, and we collabed.
Yep.
When you build your own, can't nobody take that away from you. You have all the leverage when you build your own. But when you're just trying to expedite the process and just move fast, and you're not trying to move far, you always gonna fall short. So start with your 5 or 10 homies. If your 5 or 10 homies don't even like your music, why would anybody else like it? You know what I'm saying? If your own hood don't like your music, why would anybody else like it? Start small, build your own community, build your own movement. And not only Thizzler, everybody's going to join. All the other rappers going to want to give you a free feature because you got your own motion.
Yep.
All the labels going to want to look at you. Everybody going to want you on their platform because you got your own motion. Build your own. It's going to take work. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take money.
Facts.
But build your own. The moment you start depending on everybody else is the moment you lost. You're not built for this game if you're depending on everybody else to build you up. That's just not going to happen.
So, last question. What's in the future for you, Seeley?
We got new shows coming. Bar Wars coming soon, or by the time this out, Bar Wars should be out.
Can you describe what that is for people?
Bar Wars is basically a rap tournament, you know what I'm saying, where people can, get on ciphers, where people can get distribution deals, people can get opportunities where we're on YouTube, where we're going to have basically a rap tournament. We're going to have it's going to be a live show.
Okay, so you're streaming this.
We're streaming this on YouTube.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I like it.
So you can get on there, rap, do your thing. If you win the tournament. It's going to be plenty of prizes for you to advance and, be of benefit to you. We also going to be having good conversation on there. We also going to be having special guests on there. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be doing all type of shit on there. It's going to be a great, entertaining show, but we also going to incorporate a lot of talent. So Bar Wars is going to be dope. I got my own shows I'm working on where I'm just really sitting down having a good conversation with people. I just got a lot coming. I'm trying to drop my book this year. It's done.
What's the book going to be?
It's going to be called Educate Me, where I'm just basically my thoughts on a lot of sayings and things I say. Going back to my t-shirt days where
Fire.
you know, a lot of the shit I put on shirts, I'm gonna just go deeper about a lot of my thoughts and opinions on things.
It's going full circle.
Exactly, full circle. So I'm gonna put that out. You know, I got a lot coming. I got a lot coming. I'm just working. I'm trying to stay consistent and disciplined, and that's why I'm just working.
That's fire, bro. I'm very proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, bro, and keep elevating every time. And I definitely feel like there's certain things that you educate people about that I appreciate. Like I said, gun ownership, different stuff like that. Also, just telling people to educate themselves is a huge thing.
Absolutely.
So I just want to give you your flowers on that, and keep doing what you're doing, man. C. Lee, I appreciate you.
Let's talk about it. Yay!
Talk about it.